I was hated by my parents and the whole village, yet I became their queen. I am Amina, the girl everyone hated. Not because I did anything wrong. I was hated because I was beautiful and my eyes were blue, something no one had ever seen in our village. The villagers called it a curse. My father, Obatunde, despised me for it, saying that because of me, he had lost his chance at becoming the chief. My mother ignored me completely and only focused on my two sisters, Bola and Lola. No friend wanted to be near me. Every parent wanted their children to avoid me. I was lonely. I had grown used to insults, to whispers and cruel stares, to the feeling that I didn't belong anywhere. Then came the festival. The prince, Prince Adi, was to choose a bride. It was tradition of our village that every maiden will be at the palace and dance, and then the prince makes his choice of bride. This is one of the biggest festivals in my village, and no one would want to miss it. Every maiden would want to be a queen, and because of that, every parent, especially mothers, will prepare their daughters for that great day. My mother prepared my sisters, Bola and Lola, but left me locked in my room, claiming I was a cursed child, and the throne will not even look at my face. In fact, it will be an embarrassment if I attend the festival, she said. I remember crying countless times in my room because I felt rejected. On the day of the festival, everyone was gathered at the palace, every maiden beautifully dressed and anticipating to be the queen. That morning, my mother locked me in my room and left to the palace with my sisters. I sincerely didn't want to participate. I just wanted to watch, even if it was from afar. I escaped through the window and made my way toward the gathering. That's when the guards caught me. "You shouldn't be here," they shouted. Before they could punish me, the prince himself stepped forward. He had never seen me before, but the moment his eyes met mine, he stopped the guards. "What is your name?" he said. I replied with a shaky voice, "Amina." For some reasons best known to him, he said, "Let her join the maidens. She will participate." I was scared. I have never been in the midst of people before. The villagers murmured in disbelief. My parents flushed with embarrassment. The king stepped forward, and to our surprise, instead of a dance, he said this time around, the competition is going to be different. This time around, all the maidens are to go into the forest and bring to the palace a golden crown. The whole village was shocked. What changed? Why will the king say something like that? The maidens looked at each other in disbelief.
What? It can't be! I heard it myself. This changes everything. What do we do now? We must decide!
But we had no choice. The king's decision is final. Which eyes is she going to use to see the golden crown? Someone from the crowd shouted and sneered. The whole crowd laughed cruelly. And so the contest began. The king, King Oba Adeyemi, announced, "The maidens must go into the forest and find the golden crown." But it wasn't just any crown. It was a treasure hidden in the forest, and only the truly sincere maiden would succeed. No one understood what he meant by that. As we entered the forest, my sisters mocked me endlessly. "You will never find it, cursed girl," they jeered. Everyone left me behind, thinking I was helpless. Hours passed. Some of the girls grew tired, desperate. One maiden, Fumi, stumbled into the part of the forest they had been strictly forbidden to enter. There, she found a house full of golden crowns. She screamed for joy. The other maidens, curious and greedy, followed her. Soon they all left the path the king had instructed, each taking a crown to show off. I stayed on the path, following the instructions exactly. I saw nothing at all. When we returned to the palace, all the maidens except me had crowns. My sisters looked triumphant. The villagers whispered and laughed. I felt their eyes on me, full of mockery and disbelief. The king stepped forward. "These crowns are not the real crown," he said. "The crown you are sent to find has a green glittering diamond. Any crown without it is false." The king sent us back into the forest for a second round. My sisters became clever and greedy. They came up with a new idea. "I saw green glittering sand earlier," Lola whispered to Bola. "I can sprinkle it on the crown. Then it will look like a glittering green diamond and real. The king will think we found it." They did exactly that. Most of the other maidens followed suit. I walked the path exactly as instructed, seeing nothing. I returned empty-handed, honest and true. At the palace, again I returned empty-handed with no crown. The crowd laughed at me, pointing fingers. The prince, standing beside the king, saw that I was the only one without a crown and announced, "Amina, step forward." The crowd gasped. "She has no crown," some whispered, mocking again. "Tell us, Amina," the king said, "why do you have nothing?" "I followed the path you instructed," I said. "I saw no golden crown with green diamond. I did not deviate, nor did I lie." The king smiled. "There was never any golden crown with green diamond. This was a test all along. Those golden crowns you brought were planted in the forbidden part of the forest. They were meant to reveal any maiden who deviated from the path, who cheated, or who acted out of greed. The aim was not just to find a crown, it was to find a trustworthy queen for the kingdom." Only one maiden followed instructions faithfully, and that maiden is you, Amina. The crowd went silent. My parents' faces burned with shame. My sisters hung their heads. The villagers whispered and stared, realizing they had judged and mocked the one person worthy of admiration. I, Amina, the blue-eyed girl who was hated by everyone, became their queen. And from that day forward, no one dared call me cursed again. And the moral: true virtue cannot be faked. Beauty and appearance may bring envy, but honesty and sincerity will always shine brighter than gold. If you love stories like this, subscribe to my channel, Folktales with Style, for more chilling tales.